raise the registration because they need more. That's a tax on the poor, by the way. You know, poor people drive. Do you understand? They tax the poor. Okay, that is total. Socialism, forget it. This is worse than communism. That's the direction we're going. We're going to have China here if guys like Governor Moonbeam keep getting his way. Okay, if we keep tolerating this crap without revolt, and revolt is nothing like a civil war. Those things are completely diametric opposites. Let me make it very clear. A civil war is what they want. The criminal, evil-doing, elitist scum that are creating the policies, the rules, or lack thereof that we all have to live under, that they're exempted from. Okay? These people are some mean mother you-know-whaters. Oh, they don't give a crap about humanity. These are the ones that want to get rid of 9/10 of humanity. We're overpopulated, and these are the same ones in the next breath that are saying you're an incompassionate a-hole if you don't want all the refugees and all the illegal immigrants in the whole world to move into California. These are the same ones that are telling you this crap. Do you understand that it's all just the way it has to be? I mean, just, get in line. I mean, suck it up. Just shut up and, smell the steaming pile of dog crap. Put your nose in there close. Yeah, we've stepped in it deep, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how we're going to extricate. I guess you give yourself a raise. I mean, how unreasonable is that? If you don't give somebody a cost of living raise, I got digressed when I was making that point about the minimum wage. If you don't give somebody a raise when their cost of living goes up, and I already explained what I mean by your cost of living, stuff you can't get away from, the absolute essential human needs to survive, to exist. And you don't get a commensurate, proportional, equivalent raise in your pay, then for all intents and purposes, mathematically and logically speaking, reasonably speaking, anybody that's intellectually honest would have to agree that there is no measurable difference between your wages as having actually gone down. Do you understand? You say, well, the wages didn't go down. They're the same. He's making $5 an hour, but his cost of living went up. So his $5 an hour is worth less. Do you understand? It's worth $4.50, and then it's worth $4. And you know what? And there's so many evil people in the world that think that this is the way it has to be. Somebody's got to get cheated. Somebody's got to get left out of this loop. I'm telling you, you're evil. You're evil, and you're on the highway to hell. I guarantee it. Okay? Because if you're not even going to be just have a modicum of logic in your thinking and understand that this planet on its face, even not believing in God, belongs to all of us. Okay, we all have a stake in it. So it's not wild-eyed to suggest that we are born with shares in the natural resources of the planet. That is not a wild-eyed concept, not in my mind, not biblically speaking, not from any of the faiths out there, not from the Jews, not from the Muslims. So who is it? It is satanic forces that hate humanity. That's who's doing this to us. They're murdering people. People cannot take an ever-increasing, a perpetual cost of living tax increase. Wages are not keeping up with it. They have not for over 50 years. Do you understand? And it is not okay. I'm telling you. And you know what? There's a lot of people going to hell. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, but all you money lovers out there that just love the advantage-disadvantage paradigm, and you think this can just, exist in perpetuity, I've got news for you. The good guy always ends up winning. Okay, light is stronger than darkness, truth is stronger than lies, good is stronger than bad. It's all very simple. It's all proven. Okay, over and over and over again in history. And all you people that love your lives in this world because your numbers are good and your sense of financial security in the world is good and your sense of financial freedom is good in the world, just remember this, that you were warned. If you're listening to me, you're without excuse, or anybody else that takes what I tell you, takes what I say and goes and tells other people what I'm telling you. I'm warning you. I'm warning you because you will go to hell. You are a hypocrite. You want to live by a double standard. You're an elitist. Do you understand? You do not believe in universal equality. You do not believe in universal freedom. Absolute universal freedom is where this whole thing is headed. And if you are in any way opposed to it, in fact, if you're not zealous for that realm, for that paradigm, for that world to be a reality, to be actualized here on earth, then you are most guaranteed okay, on a surefire ticket straight to hell. You bought your own ticket to hell. You don't want to be, by your own admission, in your own heart and mind, you said, I would not be happy in that world. I am happy in this world. Okay? I guarantee you, everything I know about the Bible, everything I know, I'm putting behind what I'm telling you, this warning. Okay? Because I don't want your blood or anybody else's blood on my head or on my hands. And that's why I do what I do. I have an obligation, a responsibility, a duty. Okay, forget the rights. All this stuff transcends all that stuff. Okay, it supersedes everything else. I have an obligation to my conscience to do what I do. Last week I talked about how, what I do isn't really free. Right. Well, that's the price. That's the payment I get. I get the peace of mind. Okay, so you could say, yeah, but you're not charging money for it. That's right. But it's something much better than money. Okay, because everybody that gives one of these that loves me even so much as a drink of water will not lose his reward. Do you understand? And as a metaphor, I'm trying to edify and instruct you properly and sanctify you through the blood that was shed for you through Jesus Christ. I mean, it's all beautiful. It's all cosmic, but you got to accept it. This final propitiation for our sins, the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, he proved the love of God, that he was willing to die for us, to save us. This is a big deal, but it's to be taken very seriously. And this decision you've got to make, you've got to say, he's right, this guy's right. You know what? I've got to get on the straight and narrow. I've got to start preparing my heart and my mind for a world entirely without money. Start shedding that evil skin. That's just that's money-based unreality. That's Satan's ambrosia. And this is nothing far out. This is nothing radical, I'm saying. This is what's in your Bible, all this stuff. It's got to go, okay? It is an evil thing that just screws our minds up. King Solomon wrote about this. We're going back how many thousands of years? 4,000 or 5,000? I don't even know. I've got no idea. But at least I know it's well over 2,000. Okay, and Jesus was walking the earth 2,000 years ago. But King Solomon pointed out how wealth can be a great snare to the soul. And I get that. I mean, anybody that's intellectually honest and logical and reasonable, okay, will come to that conclusion that they get that. They understand. It goes back to what Victor Hugo said, and what I hear Alex Jones have many times. He's repeated this quote from this guy, this philosopher, this Victor Hugo. And, I get it. But, on the same token, on the same hand, which is a paradox, but I believe in universal prosperity as a path to freedom. This is the whole idea. Okay, so if the paradigm is across the board and everybody experiences the same paradigm from birth, that yes, this is all yours. The whole world has been handed to you on a silver platter. Now what are you going to do with it? Are you going to give back, or do you just have an instinct to be a self-serving, decadent slob? Okay, I mean, it's just not natural. The vast majority of people want to contribute. They want to give back. They love it. The people have no greater satisfaction. Something King Solomon pointed out too about the days under the sun, and how the labor of our hands is the greatest gratification that we can ever have. The greatest satisfaction from our days under the sun is to serve one another. Okay, because how do we serve God? He talks about giving a tithe, that yes, it's right, you should give a 10% of your income to the poor and needy and the destitute, the downtrodden. And that's good. We should always do that until there is no more, right? I mean, that's the whole idea, is that you've got to do it. Does God need the money? Well, his children need the money, and Jesus said, whatever you do or fail to do for the least of these, you'd fail to do for me. You do or fail to do for me. Okay? So understand the pragmatic nature of what I'm talking about too, because God is the ultimate pragmatist. Okay, so the stuff I can teach you, I learned from him. I mean, it's just I'm putting two and two together, logic, and expanding on the teachings of Christ and all this. But I tell you what, this thing about taxes, and people want low taxes and all this, is this a conservative issue? And the liberals are all for high taxes because they believe in socialism, and as long as the money goes to programs they believe in, they're all for, high taxes, tax the rich, give to the poor, Robin Hood and all. Hey, and it sounds really altruistic and good. I'll give it to them. It sounds benevolent. They sound like the good guys. but they don't really understand the deeper issues. They don't ponder, basic economic principles of understanding the worth of your currency. If your taxes are going up always, doesn't matter if it goes to a government entity or to a private entity, that means the worth of your currency is going down, and you need some explanation. Somebody needs to explain to you why it's supposed to go the opposite direction according to capitalist laws of supply and demand. And if you're going to talk about capitalism, you sure as crap better start injecting supply and demand. Okay, because that's what it's all about. Because I don't know what to tell you. Just free market. What was '08? What was getting rid of the Glass-Steagall Act? Okay, and what was these people, these politicians going against the will of 90+% of the American people and bailing out the bankers, rewarding the criminals that caused this crash instead of having a market correction where a lot of them lost their butts and got caught holding the bag, which is what should happen and what would have happened if we had any semblance of true capitalism. Okay, so you free market man, you better start talking. You better start really. Let's get it. Expand on that a little bit. Okay, because that's annoying. We got to talk about what you mean. Unregulated, so it's okay that we have all these special interest groups colluding. 51% collude against 49%, can take you to the cleaners and wipe you out and make you homeless and destitute on the continent your forefathers conquered. Is that what you're saying? You want to say that's okay? Boom and bust and all this crap? Oh, well. Another whole segment lost their butts. That '08, all the foreclosures, all the new property management companies that got set up, all the people that got into landlords, and all these rich dads out there, the Robert Kiyosakas and whatnot, able-bodied men that should be out there digging ditches and crap. But no, they're sitting back like fairies and they're just collecting, oh, well, I'll raise your rent. I can't let my peers down. Like that episode of Gilligan's Island, right? Where there was the imposter and he had lowered the rents on Wall Street or wherever Howell, the millionaire Howell had his properties, and Howell started crying. Oh my God, he was ashamed that his rents weren't keeping up with the peers. You understand? He wanted to set the trend. He wanted the highest rents in town, in other words. That's the way these people think. So there's no end in sight. This train is chugging down the highway. This ship of fools is careening to destruction. I guarantee it. We're in it deeper and deeper until our cost of living tax reverts. There's no other way around this. It's proven it's not going to happen with wages. There's just no way in hell. The math's been done. Minimum wage would be over $40 an hour now to be commensurate with $1.50 back in the mid-'60s. Do you understand? You going to catch up to that? With the cost of living still going up as I speak? That's a pipe dream. Talk about being illogical. That's never going to happen. So what am I saying? I'm saying we all got to be honest and start really talking about this stuff. Talking about understanding supply and demand and understanding what progress means relative to supply and demand. How your cost of living is supposed to go down, and here's the rhyme and reason, the why and wherefore. Because that is we, a civilization, a society, communities, find easier and easier methods to produce not only things we need but want. So this is an accumulation of technology over the ages that has come about here. Okay, so the natural thing is that your currency increases in worth as we're able to supply an abundance of all the things we need. Things become dirt cheap. The captives become free. Do you understand? Naturally, organically, automatically with true free market supply and demand capitalism. But obviously it requires oversight. It requires checks and balances, accountability by we the people. Putting our foot down and saying, no, we're not going to let you scam us and rip us off. We want universal, absolute freedom, prosperity for everybody. Do you understand? And that's how we're going to get it. So on one hand, you could say, yeah, I agree with Victor Hugo that, prosperity makes monsters and adversity makes men. I would say that's true in this current paradigm. That it's good that a man understands hardship and the plight of the poor and downtrodden. Absolutely imperative to his well-being as a functioning, decent, upright human being in the eyes of God. Okay, Justin Bieber was just caught. I saw a TMZ piece. He's sitting down and having chats with the homeless. Good for him. He wants to understand the problem. He wants to understand what's going on. But I'm here to tell you it would be one hell of a lot cheaper. So here, you want to get into fiscal prudency? Okay, fiscal prudence, let me tell you where the score. I've done the math. I know what I'm talking about. It would be incredibly cheaper, phenomenally cheaper to just end desperate, extreme poverty. Nobody on the face of the earth in this day and age needs to be desperately poor. That is a matter of fact. So you chew on that, you ruminate on that, you put that in your pipe and smoke it, and you be prepared to face God with that knowledge. But no, that's been the situation for a long, long time. If you're wondering what God is going to be pissed off about when he comes back, and who are those evildoers that are going to get separated, just like the weeds from the cultivars, okay? These are going to the fire to be burned, and these I'm saving. Okay, you want to be on the right side, so I'm warning you as best as I can, as clearly, coherently, and cogently as I possibly can, using metaphors as little as I can here, so I can be very clear, but understand what's coming. The implications, the ramifications thereof are huge. I cannot overemphasize, okay, they're biblical of nature. These sea changes that are coming